Thank you for tuning in to this new Billington Federal Cyber Bite sponsored by Cisco. It will feature, and I'm honored to present, Wanda Jones-Heath, the Acting Principal Cyber Advisor and CISO for the Department of the Air Force, and Andy Stewart, Senior Federal Strategist for Cybersecurity at Cisco. Today, the conversation will focus on Comply to Connect, or C2C, and the Air Force's cyber priorities. We hope you will enjoy this short interview. Thanks again for your support of our cybersecurity education mission that spans over a decade.
What has changed definitely is our mindset. We know that technology and policies have changed, but we want to make sure that at the end of the day that we have continuous access, no matter where you are, for our airmen and guardians. C2C, or better yet, to make sure that every endpoint meets the requirements on a continuous basis. The strategy has always been there. Now we're focusing on ensuring that we have a simplified digital access, but we must not forget that part of the process is our security posture. Freedom to operate, throughout our networks, no matter if it's on-prem or off-prem, and ensuring that our networks are resilient, they're robust, and they're secure. I would say no. I think the better approach or the better statement is, as we move towards a rock solid digital foundation, the goal is that we have more opportunities. We have opportunities to employ capabilities across multiple infrastructures and platforms to ensure that no matter where our airmen, our guardians are located, they can connect, they can have access to their data to make those important decisions. A robust IT infrastructure is the goal. One of the things that we're stressing, application owners need to only be worried about their application. Let us worry about the infrastructure and the hosting requirements to ensure they have capabilities, they have access, and that they are secure. All of those things that you listed, C2C, zero trust, identity management, cloud adoption, etc., all are part of our way to ensure that we are a digitally minded Air Force. Our goals are, number one, to increase the speed of software development, which includes testing and delivery of required capabilities. And to do that, we have to have a strong and secure infrastructure. Another goal, ability to leverage large amounts of data. We have data everywhere. Our cloud strategy is super important, that it accepts the values that we need for our data modernization effort. Having accessibility for connectivity, cloud-based, whether it's on-prem or off-prem, whether it's our internal network or our industry partner network, it's all valuable. AI, ML will allow us to leverage large amounts of data, and to accelerate our mission. To do that, we have to incorporate all of those things we've already talked about, the foundational elements of our infrastructure, the security posture, the data modernization. All of that plays an important part into how we are able to move towards a more digital transformation. And lastly, the workforce development. Talent management in this era is going to be super important. We expect our airmen and guardians to be digitally adept. What does that mean? That means they need to be able to use the advanced tools that we will put in place to do their mission. We have a secure backbone. We have infrastructure, whether it's on-prem or off-prem. And then we have the talent to be able to take advantage of all those things we put into place. So as we continue to invest, continue to train, continue to equip our airmen and guardians, at the end of the day, we should be able to move that digital mindset and be able to transform the entire department while also completing our mission.
I mean, I think when you look at the NIST 800-207 model, there are two really important, logical components that stand out for me is software-defined networking, consistent with that control plane and data plane model that I talked about earlier, and advanced identity services being implemented in the control plane. First you have to recognize that we are operating in a hybrid multi-cloud world. Our people need access to data from any device and from anywhere and via multiple means. So when you take that zero trust philosophic approach and along those guidelines of the NIST SP 800-207, you have an implementation of a software-defined wide area network that provides a means for granular access, control, and logical micro-segmentation. And that allows you to form abstraction layers in the network to reduce the complexity of managing individual devices or individual appliances. Policy is defined in the policy decision point, the PDP, and then executed through the network architecture via policy enforcement points. And so that idea of advanced identity services coupled with software-defined networking provides the means to really implement granular microsegmentation at speed and scale and allows users and devices or just operational technology type devices to connect more easily and more securely. And the idea of the identity services continuously incorporating as much contextual information about the status of the users and devices, their authorized roles, their validated credentials, and their means of access to the network is really important, especially as you take this approach to identity for all OT devices, all users and devices that are attempting to connect to the network. It's a challenge and authentication process that's not a single event, but uses as much dynamic context and identity to apply least privilege access principles, continuously challenging and authenticating every user and device every time a data access decision must be made automatically and at machine speed. And what's really important is that all these policies are applied before the network connection or access is granted with full knowledge of how they're connected to their network, their compliance, their capability status, their allowed functions, and again, as much contextual information as possible.